What's going on, guys? Tuki here, back again with some more NHL 16. However, this is going to be more of a review slash rant video as opposed to focusing on the gameplay or focusing on a series. At this point, between EA Access and the NHL 16 release, I have 39 hours of time invested into this game. And to be completely honest, despite what I said in the first Hockey Ultimate Team video about being impressed with this game, I'm really starting to see some recurring issues that are essentially ruining this game. Now, I'll start off by saying this: it's not all bad. There are a lot of good things about this game, whether aesthetically or production-wise. A lot of the new animations, like the deking, feels really good. The shooting animations are nice. Goaltender, which I'll probably get to down the road. I love the adjustments. My only problem is with the hugging the post. It's still a little bit, I don't even know what you call it. Just when you can go to hug the post and your guy starts the animation midway through the crease and then hugs the post. Bottom line, they need to improve that. But again, there are some positives about this game. But the real negatives, at least in terms of EA SHL, which is my most played game mode, this has been my main game mode since NHL 11. Prior to that, I always was more of a GM mode guy, which honestly I might have to default back to again. And as far as a GM mode series, it will be coming down the line. Unfortunately, I have a little bit of OCD in terms of realistic rosters, and the EA rosters that they released are absolutely horrendous from top to bottom in terms of player overalls. So my main goal is going to be to edit that, figure that out, solve that problem, make the game a little bit more realistic in terms of player diversity, and then start a GM mode. Whether that comes in October, I might just wait until the first roster update so guys like Jack Eichel are immediately in the game. We'll see. I'm not sure yet. So as far as my problems go, I'm not sure if I'm noticing these details simply because I was so excited for this game. This game was hyped to be the game that NHL 14 should have been. Now, if you remember, NHL 14 wasn't even on next gen. It was supposed to be, and they canceled it, pushed it back for NHL 15, which of course was a shell of a game anyway. This is the game we should have gotten as a debut for the new consoles. My main sticking point is this: play together, win together is the tagline. And while that might somewhat be true, the EA Sports website, the NHL 16 page, says this specifically in the new EA SHL section. And this is a direct quote: "Player skill and your ability to play as a team will now be the determining factor in who wins and loses hockey games." That is a bold-faced lie. Now again, whether or not it was my just general excitement about this game or not that blinded me to this, I should have known better that this would not be the case, because it's never been the case in prior games. But EA got me. EA suckered me in to getting this game for that tagline alone, because I wanted to believe it was true. I'll say this too as well really quickly. This isn't me whining about, oh, I can't deke through people, I can't dangle through people, I can't do this, I can't do that. My team has always played a realistic style. I play a realistic style. Whether it's Ultimate Team, EA SHL, it doesn't matter. And once I start uploading gameplay, you will see that I play a realistic style. And just like in FIFA, I don't just go for over-the-top through balls. I love to play the game in a realistic style, and I want games where playing that style is the determining factor. And clearly, EA games aren't exactly that. Whether it's in FIFA with the pace whoring, whether it's in this, or in past iterations of NHL where it's just a simple skate to the slot, wrist shot, and all that. It's never really been the case. And unfortunately, that's where my problems lie. It's still not the determining factor. My team's 38, 16, and 6. We're on a bit of a downslide, but still a somewhat decent record. We've been hanging around the top 100 for the most part since we got the game. So this isn't just sour grapes on my part, although we do have quite a few losses that we simply shouldn't have, but that happens to pretty much every team. The problem is why those losses are occurring. Essentially my problem with the game comes down to bounces. That's what this game is. Whether it's this or FIFA, EA Sports games are determined by the bounces. Skill is maybe 10% of the equation, at best. And in NHL in particular, the amount of crazy bounces I've seen just in this short time alone. You know, the game's been out for about technically a week through EA Access, a little bit over a week now. And I don't think I've ever seen this game just be so frustrating to play and to sit through. I'll start off with body checking. Body checking is still a big problem. You can have someone lined up dead to rights. People with rifle scopes wish they could have someone just dead center. People wish they could have someone as dead center as you can have someone lined up for a hit, and you'll just magically miss. Or your guy will forget, oh, I have elbows, I can extend my arms. Instead, he'll just hold the arms tight, he'll go for a shoulder check, and he'll flat out miss inexplicably. It's absolutely infuriating that they still can't get the hitting down properly. Now, I'm not saying you should be able to hit and launch people every which way every time you hit someone. Obviously, that's not realistic. But when you literally have someone, you put so much effort and focus into just perfectly hitting someone, and then you just miss. They just skate right by you, even though you had the perfect trajectory, the perfect angle. It's infuriating, because you know you should have put them down. And that's where the second problem comes in. When you do manage to put them down, more often than not, the puck will fly towards somebody. But of course, it'll end up on the tape of the other team. That's the other big problem, and it mainly comes with stick checking. Now, I'll say in terms of stick lifting, it's actually been improved this year. You actually can't, for the most part, spam it without getting called. You actually have to be in somewhat good position. Of course, there have already been a couple of times where you get slashed in the face, nothing's called. That actually happened the other day, and I really wish I recorded the clip, and unfortunately, a lot of the stuff I recorded has just magically vanished. I transferred a lot of stuff over to a new hard drive, and a lot of stuff disappeared, unfortunately. We actually had that in a game, one of our first games. Computer gets stick lifted in the face, no call, guy walks in, scores in overtime to win the goal. And that's the type of stuff that happens on this game. It's all about luck. But for the most part, stick lifting is improved. But unfortunately, that's not the same situation for stick checking. Now, a lot of people will say stick checking is overpowered. I just say it's not appropriately represented. It's not what it should be. Spamming stick checks are it's far too overpowered. They are absolutely overpowered. Anyone that denies that spamming stick checking doesn't work, you're flat out lying. That is the way to play defense. I don't know if it's still the case as in prior NHL games where really you want to poke check once to waste it, and then your second poke check will be accurate, but that's certainly what it seems to be when you can have someone, again, in perfect position, ready to poke check them, and instead your guy will go right for the skates instead of the puck. Your first poke check is always extremely inaccurate. Maybe not always, but I'd say at least 75% of the time. Your first stick check, your first poke check, you are in extreme danger of taking a tripping penalty. And it's sad when spamming, no skill involved, but when spamming is more effective than properly playing the position and stick checking as it should. That's the way it's been for a long time, and unfortunately that's the way it still is on NHL 16. The other main problem with stick checking is simply this. It's not worth the risk. It's not worth the risk. You can stick check somebody, and you might get it. But unfortunately, they have at least a 50% chance that they're going to pick it right back up. And magically, you can poke check it off of somebody else, or you can poke check it off of the guy, and it will magically take the appropriate path to land right on the tape of someone else on the other team once again. It is extremely difficult to get to take possession. No matter how perfect your position is, no matter how well you read the play. Oh, you want to be on the sideboards and stand in the way of the pass? You know a breakout pass is coming? Guess what? It's going to go right through your legs at least 75% of the time. And that's always been the case. And again, as far as stick checking goes, you knock it off of somebody, it goes right to a teammate. You knock it off of that teammate, he picks it back up. You knock it off of him a third time, goes to a different teammate, they shoot the puck and they score. Now, I don't have a problem with him shooting the puck and scoring. I have a problem with how that third guy effectively got the puck. And it's just through blind luck. That's happened numerous times. And again, I so wish I still had these recorded clips to show it off. And I'm going to be recording, if I still end up playing EASHL, which I'm already at my breaking point. We've played 50 games or so, and I'm already at the point where I've had enough. I will try my best to record these clips of these broken plays that result in goals, no matter how many times you poke it off of them. And here's the thing: I'm not saying, oh, well, I should be able to poke check everyone, and nobody should be able to poke check me. It's fine as long as it's in a realistic fashion. But I can poke check it off of you. You can be skating directly behind me, spamming away, and magically not get a tripping call, but you will get the puck. Yet I can have you face to face, go for a poke check that's on a puck near the boards, and instead it'll just be, no, I'm going to aim for your skates, or I'm going to aim 180 degrees away from the puck to make sure you maintain possession. The term in FIFA is scripting, and I'm not sure if I so much believe in scripting on FIFA, but I definitely believe in scripting with the NHL series. This game does what it wants, when it wants. Now, whether or not you eventually score on that possession or not, that's also a crapshoot. But you will oftentimes get chances that you flat out don't deserve due to simple bounces and blind luck. And that's not what this game should be. Yes, hockey is a game of bounces. In a way, it is realistic. But in that sense, it's going to feel cheap. If a video game is decided by bounces, it is going to feel cheap. How would you feel if you were playing Call of Duty and just magically one of your gun just jams? Like, you have someone dead to rights and it misfires and then he turns and shoots you instead. How would you feel then? That would feel cheap as hell. And that's how it feels in hockey. It's the same feeling as in FIFA. When you're on essentially a breakaway, you are gone one-on-one with the goalie. You have a half bar of stamina. You're good to go. You magically pull a muscle. They come down the other end, sprint past. They're in the red on their stamina bar, but they just sprint right past your computers and score. It's effectively the same thing. It's blind luck that the game dictates what happens. User skill is a very, very small piece of the puzzle. Anyways, guys, I don't want to ramble too much. And again, like I said, this is more of a rant, but truly, I am concerned. I love the EA games. I've been playing them since I was a kid. I can remember vividly NHL 94 up until NHL 16. I've owned every single one in between, and I've played the hell out of every single one. I love this franchise. I play this franchise more than any other. But seeing these recurring problems, seeing that they're still in the game, and seeing that truly, even though you specifically say player skill and your ability to play as a team will now be the determining factor in who wins and who loses, even though you say that, it's not true. It's a lie. And that's where the frustration comes from, and I can only hope that it changes with the first update. And the sad thing is, normally I enjoy I enjoy the game for the first 2 weeks before the first patch, before the first tuner update. And that's not the case this year, and I think that's what's catching me most by surprise. Normally the first couple of weeks, the game plays at its most realistic point. I enjoy the game the most. Although there might be some minute problems, overall the game normally feels great. But unfortunately with these problems, the game, I'm not going to say feels broken, but I am going to say it feels unfair. Now obviously you can sit there and say, oh well, why don't you do the same thing? Trust me, I try to poke check spam. I get a tripping penalty every goddamn time. Trust me, I try to pick up the puck after it's poke checked off of me. It doesn't always work. Now again, is that a little bit bias on my part that I feel like the bounces are always going the other team's way? Of course it is. But again, when I play a realistic style, the game is supposedly more realistic than ever, and they've tailored it in a way to more realistic play where the best team wins. But these issues are still occurring where truly the best team don't win. The best teams don't win. The best players don't win. It's just disheartening. It's absolutely disheartening. I'm going to get out of here for now, guys. I will be bringing you more NHL along the way. The first edition of the Ultimate Team series is on the way as well. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes as well. I won't give any details. Let me know, guys, in the comments below what you think of NHL 16 thus far. Am I just being overly biased? Am I whining for the? Am I complaining for the sake of complaining? I certainly don't feel so, but again, that could just be the bias. Let me know what you think of NHL 16. If you've liked hearing this defeated man ramble about NHL 16 and about a video game in general, leave a like down below. Feel free to subscribe. Again, I will be bringing eventually a GM mode series. I will definitely be bringing you some Ultimate Team, unless I snap at that as well. Pro Clubs. Again, I'm going to try and start recording the footage once more to hopefully show you guys what is going on. And that's really about it, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you all next time.